Good morning, friends, and welcome back to the Up North house. Thanks for joining us for another update. We are going to start the day back in the basement, just like last week. It's actually a lot like last week. We started a job down here and just knew that we would have to be coming back to visit it again. So today's the day we get to visit that job again and finish things off. You may remember from previous videos that our basement has had some transformations and some issues in the past. But we have this open ditch where we had to expose our sewer line because there was a clog and we needed to replace the joint, the connection where the new PVC pipe meets the original clay pipe. And that has been done by professionals. There was a clog exactly in this position because of the old joint. It was mortared to the clay, which worked, but created kind of a constriction, a bottleneck right here. And so there was a big clog that has been cleared. Everything is now correct. And the water company is happy with that progress. Now we can close our ditch up for the season and finish our vapor barrier and gravel. So we're going to start that by moving this dirt back into the ditch. And John's going to be working on that. So you'll get to see that in fast mode. All right, John is finishing up filling the ditch. We're leaving this last part down here open. We have a temporary closure on the part that we'll be using next year to connect our plumbing because the sewer line is not really in use at this point. It's just repaired and ready for next year's projects. So another part of buttoning up the property for the season is moving our liquids and things that could freeze to our heated space. We're going to be heating the basement, as you may remember. So we have all of our paints and stains and cleaning products and things that we've been using this season so far. And so that we don't ruin them and that they're still here for us to use next year, we're going to be placing them in our handy dandy wooden closet that used to be on the other side of the basement. Remember at the very beginning, it was frozen to the wall over here. So different already. So I'll be moving these in momentarily. Job done. Now on to the vapor barrier. Vapor barrier is done. We still need more gravel in here, but that is a job for a future Stephanie and John. Not going to happen right now. We went ahead and covered this old chimney base too, just because it's easier that way. Just incidentally, this is, we believe, the original wood-fired fireplace chimney stack that would have been at the back of the house. We think this was the back beam of the house at one point, and that the kitchen area, which is here, may have been a lean-to or a barn space or a temporary living area while the house was being finished. So vapor barrier is done. That's the name of the game here. And we're gonna go on up to the kitchen and see what's next. Next job is in the kitchen upstairs. So you know very much that we have this lovely wood cook stove. We've been enjoying it. We've been using it, placed by professionals to the codes, which is very handy for us in our thinking skills. This is UL certified. It's, insurable and usable in American homes. And it does come with a heat shield. That's what this part is right here. And that heat shield is supposed to be 4 inches from the wall, which it is. We've used the stove a lot at this point and haven't noticed that the wall behind is especially warm or worrisome in any way. This is wood, as you know, and this is lime plaster. You know, we're not required to have any additional shielding back there. We haven't noticed any additional warming of the surfaces. But just because it makes me feel better, we are going to put a heat shield behind here. Our mat below is black. We did buy a black stove board. That's what this is here. The black stove board is not metal. It's a different material. I'll show you that when we start to install it. But the board comes like this, and it comes separate with a wall spacing kit. The spacing kit has the screws and everything to attach it to your wall surface and the mounting brackets, but it also has these neat, like non-transferable, so little metal spacers so that the heat that does accumulate in the board does not transfer to your wall surface. So we'll be putting this in. I'll show you what that looks like, and then we'll go over the details when it's all said and done. Okay, here's a closer peek at all of the tools we're going to be using. We have, I think these are aluminum, so they don't transfer the heat, which is cool. These are the screws provided, so they go through the wall board, through the spacer, and into our wall surface. We're screwing into wood, so we don't actually need additional anchoring, but it does come with additional anchoring if you're doing like drywall or something like that. So that'll work for us. So the wall board itself is this, I can't remember what it's called. It's like a fiber board stuff in here. It's a heat retardant type material, and then it's wrapped with a metal. So the front surface is metal, and this is like a concrete board in the back of it. So that's what it is. That's what it looks like, and you will only see the black part from the front when it is installed. Okay, the backer board is in. It's looking good. It's spaced appropriately from the wall. Everything's nice and centered. I'm loving it. We did have one casualty. The spacers are aluminum, and the screws are also aluminum to stop, you know, heat transfer. If the top of this got hot and just transferred heat back through into your wood surface, that would be a bad idea. So because they're aluminum, they're very soft, and it's a, I don't know if you can see that, it's like a Phillips head. So very easy to get just a little crooked and chew up the head. So John's going to replace that one because it looked a little funny and it didn't want to go in to the full depth. So that's the only casualty, but other than that, it's looking good. He's going to get that one replaced, and we're calling this job done. Next up is a tour of our front porch. We've seen little bits of the front porch this season. It is a section that's not very stable, and it needs to be rebuilt. That is something that we're going to be having done. However, that job, because of scheduling and all the things, is not being done while John and I are here. So unfortunately, we don't get to see it in video form. We may have photos to share, but we won't have a video process. So I want to give you a good look on video of the before of our little porch and show you all the bits and pieces. And I want you to remember, we're close to the road, if you didn't notice. So it's going to be noisy out here. Just bear with me. Hey, here is our beautiful front porch, future beautiful. Just want to give you some close-ups of the framing and the current situation out here. Our ceiling is original tongue and groove. The paint is of course flaking, and there are parts that are bowed and puckered and all of those things. So we'll be needing to address that. The posts are hollow, and many of them are rotted, as you can see here. So that will need to be addressed. The railing is very low. This is about up just above my knee here, so it'll need to come up a bit for modern clearances. When we first arrived, this section over here and that section and this post were actually missing, and John temporarily replaced them and cobbled together bits of railing that we found around. So we're going to take the opportunity to be rebuilding a new design for that. You can see how John temporarily placed a 4x4 post in this corner so that it wouldn't be sagging while we waited for our new build. Currently, the porch, you can kind of see the bow and the slope in here. Currently the porch stops here. We're going to be extending it to enclose that other bay window back there. I can show you that from ground level. The front bay window is already enclosed by the porch, and it's got a nice protection over it. The paint and woodwork is in great condition there. So we want to duplicate that over here and just extend our porch a little bit. So this is what it currently looks like. Everything very, very, very temporary. I don't know if you can really see, there's a big dip in this section as well. So now I'll go down and show what it looks like from underneath. All right, front of the house right here in all her glory. Our French drain system is working lovely. Basement's dry. Slope is maintained. Very good. Under the porch, you can see how things are attached and not attached. Directly in front of me there, you can see those boards going out toward the street are completely detached. Nothing is left on those. There's a ledger board on the brick foundation, and then basically every now and then there are some treated 4x4 timbers that are resting directly on soil. There's no cement pad, there's nothing under here to prevent any kind of rot or frost heaving beyond the fact that the board itself is treated. So very interesting to guess what is actually holding this porch on besides some wishing. I'm not sure. So here's the front of it, the railing there, and here I can show you another section where it's completely detached. That's what we were looking at from the side over there. Our new build will have a new deck portion, new framing underneath, patched in ceiling, new roof on top so that we can then place gutters, because this slope is such that we can have gutters and mitigate future roof rot and runoff into the house. The piers will be on 6x6 posts that will be then stationed on top of a 4-foot deep pyramid shaped pillar that goes below our current frost line here. So those will be more stable and more evenly spaced. So this is what it's looking like. This is what it is. I'm very excited to come back next year and have this all ready for us to do the finishing and for us to do some sitting on the front porch, which will be great. Here's another look at some of that rot that we're dealing with on this side from poor drainage. Again, poor drainage, gutters, and water mitigation can really wreak havoc if you don't have everything the way you should on a house. So here's the pillar off into nowhere. I'm not sure how that's staying up. We're just hoping for the best. This is all propped in. This is the end of the porch on this side. I don't know if you can see all of that under there, but you can see the slope and the rot. It's all there. We're gonna have it rebuilt. I'm very excited. Our new porch will come all the way out to this section where this is our old porch that's been transferred to a sunroom, and the new porch will stop here. You can see where they've marked the new pillars over here for that to happen. So very exciting to see what comes next and how they do things and what we get to do to it. That's all going to happen next year. So get a good look right now, because the next time you see this, it will look completely different. That concludes the tour of the front porch and its current condition. I am so looking forward to rolling in next year and seeing how it looks with the new front porch and getting started on all those finishing details. We're fully confident that our crew is going to do an amazing job with or without our presence here, of course. They're working next door. You might have heard them in the clips that I just did. And they're the same crew that did the work on our foundation rebuild wall. So they're great. They do great work. We're so fortunate to have found them, and we have full confidence that they're going to do an amazing job on that porch rebuild. So John and I are going to continue to button things up here, get ready to hit the road back to our place in Arizona. We have one more video to share next week. That will be the video all about the stove. If you're interested in that, check back and see how it works, what I've learned about it so far, and see what more I've got to learn. There's a lot. It's an art form that takes years of practice. So I've got that to look forward to. As far as the regular season updates, this will do it for that update. One more video next week, again, all about the stove, not a regular update. So I want to take the chance now, in case you're not interested in that one, to say thank you for joining us. We have another channel in Arizona where we spend our winters, and I have that channel and this channel started mainly for us and friends and family to just check in and see what things are happening and how things are going. And, you know, especially our Arizona property has a lot of different kinds of builds, and people are always like, wait, what are you doing? And so I can just say, hey, check this video out. That's what we're doing. It's much easier. So I had no clue that we would have so many cool people out there interested in watching and following along on our journey. What a fun and interesting blessing that has been for this summer and this season. I hope you plan to join us back here next week for one more video, and next season for what comes next here at the house. We got to see more wallpaper come down, more finishing. We have electrical and plumbing and porch build and new tours and those kinds of things. All of that is still to come, and I look forward to seeing you here at the Up North house for what comes next.